What is the fundamental nature of reality? Is it a vast, indifferent machine of cause and effect, where we are but cogs, forced to push and struggle against an unyielding universe to carve out a sliver of happiness? Or is it something else entirely? For most of human history, and certainly for the last few centuries, the dominant paradigm has been one of force. We are taught from a young age success comes from hard work, that matter and unyielding, and that if you want to change your life, you must go out into the world and manipulate the external environment. You must push harder, you must fight, you must grind. And yet, we see the inconsistent results of this paradigm all around us. We see the hardest working person in the room perpetually stressed and financially strained. We see the person who seems to get lucky, achieving success with an almost unsettling ease. We see people trying to fix their relationships by controlling their partner, or trying to find peace by rearranging the furniture of their external lives, only to find the same internal disquietude waiting for them in the new room. Why the inconsistency? Why does force so often fail? The answer, which we will explore in depth today, is that we have been operating under a fundamental misapprehension. We have been trying to change the movie by pulling on the screen. We have been trying to edit the printout by scratching at the paper. We have been using force in a world that is not made of force, but of vibration. Reality, at its most fundamental level, is not a collection of solid objects. It is a symphony of frequencies. And you are not a fragile, physical body struggling against this symphony. You are the conductor, the composer, and a key instrument all in one. Your inconsistent results do not stem from a lack of effort, but from a mismatch in vibration. You have been trying to push a river when you should be learning to flow with it, and more profoundly, learning to become the river. Today, we will deconstruct the mathematics of consciousness. We will explore how your internal energy, your thoughts and emotions, act as a broadcasting system, attracting the very circumstances that mirror its frequency back to you. We will learn that to change your reality, you do not need to change the world. You need to change yourself. You need to learn to resonate at the frequency of your desired reality. When you do, its manifestation is not just possible, it is predictable, inevitable, and mathematical. To begin, we must shatter the illusion of solidity. Look at your hand. It feels solid, does it not? It appears continuous. But we now know from over a century of quantum physics that this solidity is a magnificent illusion. Your hand, this lectern, the air between us, it is all, as Nikola Tesla famously observed, a question of frequency. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, he said, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. What we perceive as matter is energy moving at a specific rate of vibration. A rock vibrates slowly, its energy is dense and compacted, giving the sensation of solidity and permanence. Water vibrates faster, allowing its molecules to slip and slide past one another. A flame vibrates faster still. Thought and consciousness vibrate at an inconceivably high rate. Matter is not the foundation of reality. It is the result of reality. It is created. But created by what? The intersection of consciousness waves. Imagine two waves in the ocean. They travel, seemingly independent, but when they meet, their peaks and troughs interact. At the point of intersection, they can create a standing wave, a point of apparent stability and calm within the moving water. This is a powerful analogy for how consciousness becomes physical form. Your consciousness is a wave of potential. The infinite field of consciousness that is the universe is the ocean. When your individual wave of awareness intersects with itself, through focused intention, crystallized thought, and potent emotion, it creates a point of stability, a standing wave in the quantum field. This standing wave, given enough energetic charge, collapses infinite possibility into a single physical reality. It precipitates into form. This is the true meaning of the phrase, to make manifest. It is not to build from scratch, but to make dense that which already exists in potential. This brings us to the critical error of force. Force is a low-frequency attempt to manipulate the already manifested. It is the act of trying to push the standing wave around. But the standing wave is merely an effect. Its position and nature are determined by the underlying intersection of the waves that created it. If you are trying to manifest wealth, You will not achieve it by merely working hard. Hard work is a low-frequency, dense activity. It interacts with the world of effects. You are trying to push the standing wave of your bank account from the outside. But the wave of wealth is created by the intersection of a consciousness wave, vibrating at the frequency of abundance. What is the frequency of abundance? It is not greed. It is not stress. It is not lack. The frequency of abundance is gratitude, generosity, and a deep, unshakable knowing that you are a source, not a sink. It is the feeling of, I have more than enough, and I delight in sharing it. When you vibrate at that frequency, your consciousness intersects with itself to create the physical manifestation of abundance in your life. The job, the opportunity, the gift. These are not the cause of your wealth. They are the effects of your vibrational match to wealth. So instead of pushing harder on the effect, you must become the cause. You must match the frequency of what you wish to experience. You want love? Stop seeking it. Become the embodiment of love. Radiate it without expectation. The frequency of love will then attract to you people and situations that resonate with that same frequency. The law is as precise as gravity. What you transmit, you will receive. What you resonate with, you will attract. This leads us to a radical, yet undeniable, conclusion about your identity. You are not a separate, insignificant being living in a universe that is out there. You are a localized expression of the very consciousness that created the universe. If consciousness is the fundamental ground of all being, then the consciousness that animates your body is not different in kind from the consciousness that animates the stars. It is the same substance. The ocean does not have one type of water for a wave in the middle and another for a wave near the shore. It is all one water. You are a wave of consciousness in the ocean of consciousness. This means you have, within you, the same creative capacity as the universe itself. The power that caused the Big Bang, that spirals the galaxies, that unfurls a rose from a tiny seed. That power is what you are made of. It is your inheritance and your true nature. However, we have been conditioned to forget this. We are taught to identify with the wave, the temporary, localized expression, rather than the ocean, the eternal source. We look at our localized expression, our body, our personality, our history, our current circumstances, and this is me. We then look at the rest of the world, the other waves, and say, that is not me. That is separate. That is the external world I must contend with. This is the primal error, the source of all suffering. It is a state of consciousness that feels small, separate, and powerless. It is a low-frequency state. To reclaim your creative power, you must shift your identity. You must stop identifying as the effect and start identifying as the cause. You are not a body that has a spirit. You are a spirit that is currently expressing itself through a body. You are not a person trying to have a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. When you anchor yourself in this truth, your relationship to reality transforms completely. You stop looking to the external world for validation, for security, for love. You realize that all these things are not to be acquired, but to be radiated from within. You are the source of your own experience. You are the creator of your own reality. This is not arrogance. It is humility of the highest order. The humility to recognize that your individual consciousness is a fractal of the divine, here to co-create the universe in a unique and beautiful way. It is accepting the awesome responsibility that your inner state determines your outer world. If you are the source, then what is the mechanism of creation? How does your inner state shape your outer world? The answer lies in understanding the roles of thought and emotion. Imagine your brain and nervous system as a highly sophisticated broadcasting and receiving station. It is a biological antenna, capable of transmitting and receiving specific frequencies. But what is the signal it broadcasts? It is the combination of your thoughts and feelings. Let us break this down. Thoughts are electrical impulses. They are bursts of energy that cross the synapses of your brain. They are the initial impulse, the direction, the information. On their own, a thought has very little power. It is like the address on a letter. It specifies the destination, but it has no weight to get there. Emotions, on the other hand, are magnetic. They are the feeling tones that resonate throughout your entire body. They are the result of neuropeptides and other chemicals flooding your system, creating a tangible, vibratory state. An emotion is the charge behind the thought. It is the letter itself. It is the substance that is drawn towards the destination specified by the thought. Your broadcasting system works like this. A thought sets the intention, the frequency. The emotion then provides the magnetic power to draw that frequency into your experience. Your thoughts point the way, and your emotions fuel the journey. Together, they create your personal frequency signature, your unique vibratory broadcast into the quantum field. This is why positive thinking alone often fails. You can sit and think, I am wealthy for an hour, but if, deep down, you are feeling the emotions of lack, fear, and anxiety about money, what signal are you really broadcasting? You are broadcasting lack. Your electrical thought says wealth, but your magnetic emotion is overwhelmingly broadcasting lack. And the magnet is far more powerful than the electrical impulse. The universe responds to the dominant frequency, which is always the feeling, not the thought. It reads your emotional barometer. It does not hear your words. It feels your vibe. And now, for the most profound part, your life is not separate from this broadcast. Your current life is a perfect high-definition mirror, reflecting your dominant frequency back to you. Is your life stressful? Then you are broadcasting a frequency of stress. Is it filled with conflict? Then you are broadcasting a frequency of conflict. Are you lonely? Then you are broadcasting a frequency of separation and unlovability. This can be a difficult truth to hear. The ego wants to blame the world. It's my boss's fault. It's the economy. It's my partner. But the mirror does not lie. It cannot reflect what is not there. If you stand in front of a mirror and see a red shirt, you know you are wearing a red shirt. You do not try to change the mirror to make the shirt blue. You change the shirt. Likewise, when you look at the mirror of your life and see a circumstance you do not like, do not try to change the circumstance. It is the mirror, the effect. You must go within and change the shirt, your inner frequency. Shift the thought, but more importantly, shift the feeling. Cultivate the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the peace of your desired reality now, in this moment, regardless of what the mirror currently shows. When you do this consistently, the mirror has no choice but to eventually reflect that new frequency back to you as a new circumstance. We have covered the theory. Now let us turn to the practice. Knowing that you are the source and that your life is a mirror is liberating, but how do we actually change the broadcast when we are stuck in a low-frequency state? How do we break the cycle of negative emotion and limiting belief? The process is not about forcing positive thoughts. Remember, force is the problem. It is about a gentle, yet decisive, act of conscious awareness. I call this process the decision matrix. It is a three-step algorithm for reality creation. The first step is always awareness. You cannot change a program you do not know is running. When you encounter a negative circumstance or feel a painful emotion, do not suppress it or judge it. Do not try to push it away. Instead, become a curious scientist of your own consciousness. Let's say you are feeling deep anxiety about your finances. Pause. Trace the emotion back to its root. Ask yourself, what must I believe to be true about myself or the world to feel this way? Dig past the surface thoughts like I can't pay my bills. Go deeper. What is the underlying belief? It is likely something like money is scarce and hard to get. I am not smart, capable enough to earn a good living. The world is a dangerous place, and I will never be secure. I am fundamentally undeserving of abundance. This is the limiting belief. It is a low-frequency program running in your subconscious. It is the false blueprint you are using to construct your reality. Do not fight it. Just identify it. Write it down. Shine the light of your conscious awareness upon it. This is the crucial moment of discernment. How do you know a belief is false? You do not need to reference the external world for proof. You reference your own internal state. This is your built-in truth detector. Think about the feeling of a genuine insight, a moment of profound clarity, or an experience of pure love. How did it feel? It felt expansive. It felt light. It felt like opening, like coming home. It felt like freedom. Now, feel the limiting belief you just identified. I am undeserving of abundance. How does that feel? Does it feel expansive? Does it feel light? Of course not. It feels heavy, dark, tight, contractive. It feels like a cage. It feels like a prison. Here is the fundamental law. Truth expands, falsehood contracts, love liberates, fear imprisons. The very fact that the belief feels contractive is the proof that it is a lie. It is not the voice of truth. It is the voice of the ego, the voice of fear, the voice of a conditioned program. You do not need to argue with it intellectually. You simply need to recognize its nature based on how it feels. By doing this, you break its spell. You see it for what it is, a false program, a ghost in the machine, with no real power over you. It is only the power you give it by believing it is real. You have identified the false program and recognized its inherent falseness through its contractive feeling. A vacuum has now been created. The mind abhors a vacuum. If you simply stop there, the old program will often rush back in. You must consciously fill the space with a new, empowering truth. State the opposite of your limiting belief. If your limiting belief was, I am undeserving of abundance, your new empowering belief is, I am a localized expression of source consciousness, and source is infinitely abundant. Therefore, I am inherently deserving all the abundance the universe has to offer. It is my birthright. Now here is where the shift happens. Your mind might immediately rebel. It will say, that's not true. Look at your bank account. That's just wishful thinking. This is the moment to bypass the logical, thinking mind and go straight to the heart. Your task is not to intellectually convince yourself. Your task is to find evidence for the new belief in your life, right now, no matter how small. We are not looking for the full manifestation in the mirror yet. We are looking for evidence to support a new feeling. We are training the antenna to pick up a new station. Ask yourself, if it were true that I am deserving of abundance, what would be different right now? What evidence can I find in my present moment to support this? You might look around the room. You are breathing, that is abundant air. You have a body that functions, that is abundant health. You have a mind that can think these thoughts, that is abundant intelligence. You have eyes to see, ears to hear. You have this lecture, freely given and freely received. That is abundant knowledge and connection. You begin to find evidence for abundance everywhere. You see the sun streaming through the window. You feel the gratitude for the glass of water on your desk. This is not toxic positivity. This is a deliberate, conscious act of retuning your antenna. You are moving your focus from the one place the mirror shows lack to the thousands of places it shows abundance. As you focus on this evidence, a shift occurs. A feeling begins to stir within you. It might be a tiny flicker of gratitude. It might be a subtle sense of relief. It might be a quiet aha. That feeling is the new frequency. That feeling is the blueprint of abundance being constructed in your consciousness. Hold on to that feeling. Amplify it. Let it wash over you. You have just made a decision. You have chosen to shift your frequency from the contraction of lack to the expansion of abundance. You have reprogrammed your broadcast. Repeat this process with every limiting belief you uncover. It is not a one-time fix. It is a practice. It is the daily discipline of a conscious creator. Over time, as you consistently choose the expansive truth over the contractive lie, your dominant frequency shifts. And as your frequency shifts, the mirror of your life must, by the immutable laws of vibration, shift to reflect it. The manifestation is not just possible. It is the predictable mathematical result of your changed internal state. We began by questioning the paradigm of force. We have arrived at a new understanding, the paradigm of resonance. You are not a laborer in a foreign universe. You are a frequency, broadcasting a signal of thought and emotion into an infinite, responsive field of potential. The external world is not a collection of random, solid events you must battle. It is a malleable mirror, reflecting back to you the sum total of your dominant inner broadcast. The inconsistent results you have experienced were not a failure of effort, but a faithfulness of the law. You were simply broadcasting one frequency and trying to force another into existence. Now you know the mechanics. You understand that matter is condensed frequency. You have seen the geometric blueprints of creation in sacred patterns. You have reclaimed your identity as a localized source of the divine. You understand the electrical and magnetic nature of your thoughts and emotions. And you have a practical tool, the decision matrix, to consciously shift your vibration. Your task, should you choose to accept it, is to become a master vibratory engineer of your own consciousness. It is to take responsibility for your broadcast. It is to learn to listen to the symphony of your life, not as a critic of the music, but as the composer, ready and willing to change the score within. Do not look at your life and ask, why is this happening to me? Look at your life and ask, what frequency am I broadcasting? What is this mirror showing me about my inner state? Then go within and do the work. Identify the limiting belief. Recognize its false, contractive nature, and find the evidence for the new, expansive truth that sets you free. As you do this, you will find that life ceases to be a struggle. It becomes a dance. It becomes a joyful, creative expression of your true self. The world will begin to respond to you in ways that seem magical, but are simply lawful. You will not have to chase, you will attract. You will not have to force, you will allow. You will not have to work so hard. You will simply be the frequency of what you wish to experience, and watch as the universe lovingly, predictably, and mathematically brings it to you. Thank you. Go forth and resonate.